Imagine a narrow supply of water of only about 33 to 39 kilometers wide, yet responsible for moving nearly one-fifth of the world's oil supply. A place where a single conflict could send global oil prices skyrocketing, disrupt economies, and affect millions of lives. This is the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most strategically important waterways on Earth. But why does this narrow strait matter so much to global politics, energy security, and international trade? Let's break it down. Where is the Strait of Hormuz? The Strait of Hormuz lies between Iran to the north, Oman and the United Arab Emirates to the south. It connects the Persian Gulf with the Gulf of Oman, which then leads to the Arabian Sea and the wider Indian Ocean. In simple terms, it acts as the only sea route for oil tankers leaving the Persian Gulf. Countries like Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, Qatar, United Arab Emirates all rely on this passage to ship their oil and gas to the rest of the world. Why it matters for global energy? Around 20% of the world's petroleum liquids pass through the Strait of Hormuz every single day. That's roughly 20 million barrels of oil daily. This means that energy supplies for major economies like China, India, Japan, South Korea depend heavily on this route. If the strait were blocked, even for a short time, global energy markets would face immediate disruption, leading to massive spikes in oil prices. The Strait of Hormuz is extremely narrow. At its narrowest point, it is about 33 kilometers wide, and the shipping lanes are only about 3 kilometers wide in each direction. This makes it a major choke point. A choke point in geopolitics refers to a narrow passage where shipping traffic can easily be blocked or controlled. Other famous maritime choke points include Suez Canal, Panama Canal, Strait of Malacca. But among them, the Strait of Hormuz carries the largest amount of oil traffic. One reason the Strait of Hormuz is so politically sensitive is the location of Iran. Iran controls much of the northern coastline of the strait. Because of this, during times of conflict or tension, Iranian officials have threatened to close the strait. For example, tensions between Iran and the United States have occasionally raised fears that shipping through the strait could be disrupted. Even the possibility of such a move can cause oil prices to jump in global markets. Due to its importance, several major powers maintain a strong military presence in the region. Some fleets patrol the Persian Gulf and ensure freedom of navigation through the Strait of Hormuz. Many countries conduct patrols and joint naval exercises in the region to protect commercial shipping. Over the years, the Strait of Hormuz has seen several tense incidents. During the Iran-Iraq War in the 1980s, both sides targeted oil tankers in what became known as the Tanker War. More recently, there have been incidents involving tanker seizures, drone shootdowns, naval confrontations. Each of these incidents raised concerns about the stability of the global oil supply. Some countries have tried to reduce dependence on the Strait of Hormuz. For example, Saudi Arabia built pipelines that transport oil to the Red Sea. The United Arab Emirates operates a pipeline from its oil fields to the Gulf of Oman. However, these alternatives cannot fully replace the enormous shipping volume that passes through the strait. So, despite these efforts, the Strait of Hormuz remains irreplaceable. Because of its importance, the Strait of Hormuz plays a major role in the global economy. If the strait is blocked, oil prices could skyrocket, global shipping could face delays, energy importing countries would face economic shocks. In extreme cases, such disruptions could even trigger global recessions. Why the Strait of Hormuz will remain important? Even as the world moves towards renewable energy, oil and natural gas still power much of the global economy. As long as the Persian Gulf remains one of the world's largest energy producing regions, the Strait of Hormuz will remain a critical artery of global trade. That's why governments, militaries, and economies around the world constantly monitor what happens in the narrow stretch of water. A narrow passage between a few countries might not look important on a map, but the Strait of Hormuz proves how geography can shape global politics and economics. A single disruption here could ripple across the world, affecting oil prices, trade routes, and international relations. And that's why this tiny waterway remains one of the most strategically important locations on the planet. Please like, share, subscribe, and click on bell icon. Please comment your viewpoint in the comments section.